Hello, everybody. My name is RoboPirate Foxy, and welcome to a bit of a different video today. So, you may or may not recognize this building behind me. If you do, I really do thank you. But this is a server I showed off a long time ago when I did a Minecraft server bingo video. It's been quite a bit, so a lot of it happened on the server. There is a wheat field now, so that's nice. But as you know, I like building unnecessarily big, and well, my mega base is no different from that. How great. And well, ignoring the rain that just started. As you know, I like to build a little extra big all the time, as you've been able to see with my progress on the Roboplex. But I thought I'd show off another kind of crazy build I did. Though I want to talk about the process. It's not all about just building the thing, and most of my videos, especially recently, I strayed away from things like showing off me collecting materials, which don't worry, you won't get too much of that in this either. I really didn't think about recording this the whole time, so I really only did some replays on actually building the thing. So it'll mostly just be being talked about, but I want to talk about the process because it's not just, a build that came out of my own mind that's based on something or just a build from my own mind. It's something that I built to scale. So, today, I'd like to show off that I built the Aurora from Subnautica in Minecraft to scale. You really didn't think I was going to show it off immediately, right? I gotta show you where we start first. So originally, here I was with the Aurora miniature, trying to count the pixels on it by setting my resolution to what someone else had measured to be the distance of the Aurora. But then, this very helpful person on Reddit, when I asked, I don't know their name, I'll throw it up on screen, but they just told me I should just use beacons. So, basically, you just come to a beacon that's at the very end of the Aurora, and I did round up a little, but I put the Aurora, counting the boosters, of course, which I can't really see any of them from here, but they go out quite a bit anyway. Yeah, I'd say 1250, 1260. So that's basically the length of the Aurora. And then getting the width was a little harder. Hi, buddy, how you doing? Okay, and then for the height beacon was a little more difficult. So I have a beacon right here at about the midsection of the Aurora. And then I built this mechanism. So, here's a platform, and then all the way up there, there's this. I kind of have two pathways, the one I built with and the expressway. But the expressway goes right to the top, and as you can tell, barring the antenna, of course, I am equal with the top of the Aurora. And of course, this is also pre-explosion, by the way. So as you can see, I'm a few feet off, but that can easily be accounted for just in general. But this goes all the way up here, and then you can see how just towering it is. But obviously, being at this angle, you can't get the proper measurement, so... But standing from this platform, we get a pretty good height, and it's kind of mixing with my sea moth. But you can see the beacon there is beacon 3, 407 meters. Of course, we got to tack on a bit for, I'd say, about 450. And that's the height of the Aurora. And that's all we really need Subnautica for, so... Now, crucially, was designing. As you can tell, I'm standing on it. I don't want to give away too much yet, obviously. But here's what my mega base, well, looks like. I mean, it's a bunch of cranes. It's a shipyard. And I wanted the Aurora to be like the big ship that's kind of sticking out. I plan to have a reference of some kind in each of these ones, but obviously I was focusing on, well, the main contender behind me. But, I want to have maybe, a Helldiver, Destroyer, or maybe, the Futurama ship. Just spaceships from popular things that have spaceships that are also nowhere near as big, so sorry. No more big spaceships. But I want to have stuff like that. Maybe some joke ships too. Like I put a robo cruiser up there. I don't know. But the point is, I wanted to. I showed too much. But the point is, you got to design everything first. So I have 2 identical platforms like this. That's not entirely done yet, I know. And then with all these cranes here. And then, well, I designed the big part for next. But I don't want to show that off till we get into the building. But, like I said, I would have recorded more of it during the design process, but I had to lay out all my stuff. There's the designing phase too, which I would have shown off a little more, but honestly, I don't even want to talk about it that much because that's kind of what makes designing so fun, is everyone does it differently. Of course, there's the basics, like you build a layout box, and then maybe you build you pick a color palette, you do a layout box. You might not do any of those, but I know most people do some subset of those. So, honestly, from there, though, you just design it how you like. So, now on to the build. You guys ready for the reveal? What you've been waiting for? Yeah, you go inside of it and it's empty. I haven't actually even designed any of the inside, and I'm sorry you can't see through it all in one go. It's a server rendering thing. The render distance on the server is only like 12 chunks, so that is an issue that you don't have in a personal world when designing it, because, my render distance is usually up higher. That's my fault. But I think it's okay. It's big and empty in here, but obviously I'm going to be filling it with rooms upon rooms. Like, I do have to go back into Subnautica for this, obviously, but I do want to design, like, all the stuff that's there, the sea moth bay, the engine room, one of the storage rooms. I want to have everything you can see in-game there, and then also the prawn bay. Also, there's other stuff that's implied to be in there, like the Cyclops Bay and better, you know, VR simulation room area thing. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Anyway, point is, it's all there's more stuff to be implied. There's more stuff you can physically see through the chunks of the Aurora. Not that I'm gonna be that precise while designing the inside, but you know, I haven't even decided on what I want the thrusters to look like. I just wanted to get the thing done in the world. So the way you get in and out right now is through the thrusters. I'm thinking, though, that the entrance will be in the prawn bay, because it's very clearly a door that opens somewhere in the prawn bay. So, that's hopefully where I will add this. Now, looking at the outside, you may notice a few issues. Now, I built it to scale, so, you know, the top up here is a little short. I might change that later, but the ship of the body didn't look right without it being this big. And then there was the issue of this having to be short by comparison. I think it looks fine while you're down here, which is the intended viewing angle. But when you get a little closer, it kind of looks a little stubby, which isn't the case in Subnautica. But, you know, I can always change it. The point of this, though, was that I wanted it to be to scale. So even though it's a little short, I think it still gets the point across. You may also notice that a lot of little bits and bobs on the outside are missing. I didn't include them because when designing it, which this is a crucial part to when designing anything, when designing it, it just didn't look right. It looked better all white. Like, I put in the bits of, like, I used Skulk like I did here and up here, and it just didn't look right. I used just blue. I used a bunch of blocks I could think of, and nothing really looked right. So, yeah. And that's kind of it. Oh, you may notice, also, one hassle I didn't even think about while designing is the mob issue that would happen under here. You can see I've even tried to light it up, and I'm still clearly not doing enough. But it's a cool build, and I still wanted to show it off. If you like more of this server, I will post more videos. I have a lot of big, stupid builds planned for this thing. Like, I'm going to do a I can't say it because it'll spoil it. I know that some of the people on here watch me, so I don't want to spoil that surprise. But I have, like, a really big, dumb, stupid, dumber than this somehow project plan that I do have to work on pretty soon. So, with half of the Aurora loaded in, I wanted, I want to, you know what, no, I'm doing the outro inside where you can see the whole thing from the middle. Now that we can see the whole thing from the inside, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you could please leave a like and subscribe, especially if you like crazy projects like this, and the corner unloaded there for a sec. And anyway, thank you so much for watching, and bye! I'd be wrong to do a Subnautica video and not say, why, Krafton? Why?